which is very, very difficult. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Please repeat the translation. Dear Queen, you must have worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who delivers His devotees from the greatest danger. Persons who constantly meditate upon Him surpass the cause of birth and death. This perfection is very difficult. Let us hear the purport. Dhruva Maharaj was the lost child of Queen Suniti, but during his absence, she always meditated upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is able to rescue his devotee from all dangers. While Dhruva Maharaj was absent from his home, not only did he undergo severe austerities in the forests of Madhuvan, but at home also, his mother prayed to the Supreme Lord for his safety and good fortune. This is important. While Dhruva Maharaj was absent from his home, not only did he undergo severe austerities in the forests of Madhuvan, but at home also, his mother prayed to the Supreme Lord for his safety and good fortune. In other words, the Lord was worshipped by both the mother and the son, and both were able to achieve the supreme benediction from the Supreme Lord. The word Sudurjayam, an adjective which indicates that no one can conquer death, is very significant. When Dhruva Maharaj was away from his home, his father thought that he was dead. Ordinarily, a king's son, only 5 years old and away from home in the forest, would certainly be supposed dead. But by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only was he saved, but he was blessed with the highest perfection. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we want to also welcome Samanjas Prabhu, Jai. Thank you for being here. We want to welcome Swayam Prakash Prabhu, Krishnarati Mataji, Radhika. They have come from Singapore. Want to welcome Vishal Prabhu, also coming from Singapore. At least it's an adopted homeland, you know. They'll all say they're from India. But it's nice to see everyone flying in. I think more devotees have come, Prabhu. Swayam Sampurna Prabhu, yeah, we introduced him in the morning. That was nice. Anyone else from Delhi? I know Vasudev Prabhu is here. They've all, okay, very nice, very nice. Today's shloka is a very nice shloka because it tells us something very important about Dhruva Maharaj's pastime. I was remembering Dhruva Maharaj yesterday in the evening because every time I looked up in the open sky, I saw the moon and I also saw the pole star. And the pole star, you know, is visible in the clear evening, you see. And the pole star is actually Krishna's reward for Dhruva Maharaj's devotional service. And Dhruva Maharaj is so powerful and so favored by Krishna that even if we forget everything in this world, when we see the pole star, we are remembering Bhagavatam because of Dhruva Maharaj. He's so famous, so powerful, that even after so many years, we may be sitting in Rajkot, but if we look to the sky and we see the pole star, we can remember Dhruva Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj's achievement is superlative, meaning to say it is so great because he was just a 5-year-old boy and he had nothing with him, no qualification, no proper education, no sufficient maturity. He had nothing with him. He was ill-equipped, but he was such a Kshatriya that he was insulted by his stepmother, Suruchi. And because he became so upset that his brother Uttama could sit on his father Uttanapad's lap, but he could not sit there. So he felt very insulted. And like a true Kshatriya, he came running to his mother. Of course, a true Kshatriya would go to take up his arms and fight. But he was 5 years old. So his weapon, his protection, his everything was his mother. And so he went, he went to Suniti. And when he went to Suniti, he spoke to her, he cried to her, and he sought her protection. This is a very important point. Dhruva Maharaj had nowhere to go. He did not know who the source of his protection will be. But when a child is young, the child turns to its mother for protection. And so he went to his mother. But luckily, Suniti was not just an ordinary mother. Ordinary mother will try to protect her son, no doubt. But what advice she gives, perhaps that is not the best protection. Because Suniti could have definitely fanned and stoked the flames of Dhruva Maharaj's anger. Because actually, Suniti herself was not very well taken care of in the household. Sometimes when you are not treated well, and someone else is also not treated well, and together you two come together, and you both feel this commonality, it is very easy to stoke the flames for each other. In other words, you poke each other. Yeah, he's very bad. Then you say, yes, he's also very bad. You know, he's like that. Oh, I also felt like that. He's like that. So we feel that way. And in material world, we give each other bad advice. We don't give each other good advice. Instead of calming the situation down, we often make the situation flare up even more. Why? Because we counteract. But Suniti, the amazing thing about her was she did not counteract. And in fact, she gave Dhruva Maharaj the best advice. Her advice to Dhruva Maharaj was that what your stepmother said, because stepmother said something very painful to Dhruva Maharaj. Suruchi told Dhruva Maharaj that actually you can sit on your father's lap, but for you to do that, you must obtain one qualification. You must pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be born in next life in my womb. And if you are born in my womb, then you can sit down on your father's lap. Actually, Maharaj said, Suruchi's advice was not very good also, because she had no guarantee that she'll be born as the queen. And she had no guarantee that in her state of consciousness, she could even be born as a human being, because her consciousness was very bad. But she was so arrogant that she was convinced that she will always be queen. This is the illusion that we have, you see. Maharaj said that there was a flaw in the prayer that Suruchi recommended to Dhruva, but there was no flaw in the prayer that Suniti recommended to Dhruva. The stepmother's prayer or recommendation to Dhruva was wrong, because Dhruva could not take birth in her womb again, because there's no guarantee that she will be in the same situation. So when we are not devotees, we lack transcendental knowledge. And we think that we have time in the next life to do something. And we advise others also that in next life you do this, without understanding at all that we have no control over our next life, because we have no control over our actions in this life. In this life, we don't behave ourselves. In this life, we cannot control everything. So how can we control what will happen to us in the next life? So this is the flaw of one who is not a devotee, that we are always speculating in the future. That was Suruchi's position. But Suniti's position was very different. Suniti's position was so powerful that she gave Dhruva Maharaj the best advice. Mamangalam tata pareshu mamsta bhungte jano yat paradukkadasta. These two lines, are the most important two lines that a mother can give advice to a child. And all mothers should remember this. Because Suniti did not stoke the fire of passion in Dhruva Maharaj. She did not. Why was it important for her not to stoke the fire of passion in Dhruva Maharaj? Because Dhruva Maharaj by nature was Kshatriya. And therefore, by nature, his passion, predominating passion, predominating mode was actually passion. So actually, if one wants to make someone a devotee, we should not stoke that mode of passion which takes us away from Krishna. We should substitute that with the mode of goodness. Because from the platform of goodness, Shastras tell us, we can then launch ourselves into Vishuddha Sattva platform. And that can only be achieved when we are on the platform of goodness, Sattva. So she was a true mother. That is why her advice was so nice. My dear son, don't wish for anything inauspicious for others. This is the true nature of a good mother. A devotee mother will never tell her children that you should wish inauspiciousness for others. Even if you have been wronged, do not counteract. Don't wish them bad. They may wish you bad, but why you should wish them bad? It's very nice, this point, When a dog bites a man, nobody says anything because it is dog's nature to bite man. Natural. But if the man bites the dog, then it comes in the newspaper, isn't it? Immediately they will say that this man bit the dog, Because everybody knows that it is not normal, it's not human for us to bite dogs. We don't go around biting dogs. We don't. We don't. So this is the point. So she's telling Dhruva, do not wish anything inauspicious for your stepmother. That is what she was saying. Politely she's saying, don't wish anything inauspicious for your stepmother. Maharaj asks us this question, how do you wish inauspiciousness for someone? Actually, it's very easy. All you have to do is be envious and angry with them. That's all. If you're envious of someone, you're already wishing them inauspiciousness. Maharaj said, you don't even have to say it. By being envious of someone, you are actually wishing them a lot of inauspiciousness. And that is why Krishna is very unhappy with you. He is unhappy already because you are envious of someone. But in being envious, you are meaning inauspiciousness. That is what upsets Krishna more. Because when you're envious, you want something they don't have. That one Krishna doesn't care, because you're not going to get it anyway. But if you mean someone inauspicious, that is something that Krishna does not tolerate. He doesn't tolerate. Because that is the mood of a demon. A demon is always wishing inauspiciousness for others, but a devotee does not. So that's why Dhruva Maharaj was told by his mother that, my dear son, you please don't wish anything inauspicious for others. Why? In the second line, there is the explanation. Anyone who inflicts pain upon others suffers himself from that pain. This is the most important. This is most important instruction from Bhagavatam. That anyone you inflict pain on others, if you inflict pain on others, that same pain you yourself will feel. You yourself will feel. It will come back to you. It's like, a boomerang effect, You know boomerangs, right? So you're in Australia, right? If you throw a boomerang, it has the ability to come back to you. If you're not careful and you throw it, right, it will really come back to you. If you don't catch it, you'll get hit. And this is the effect of inauspicious prayers or wishes which are inauspicious. It will come back to hit us. The same people we wish badly, and the things we wish badly upon them, those same things we will have to suffer in our life. We will have to suffer. It's a terrible thing, but it will happen. And that's why she told her son, Dhruva, you don't be angry. Don't be angry. Don't wish inauspiciousness. And she told him something very important in that shloka also, that what your mother has said, what your stepmother said, is actually correct. That is very nice. This is a very high level of devotion. No? Suniti's level of devotion is very high, because it's very difficult to take words of wisdom and Bhagavatam from one who wishes inauspiciousness to us, isn't it? It's very difficult, very difficult. But she said, you should take nectar even from poison. That is what she's saying. And that is what Krishna does also. Krishna, his quality, Bhagavatam tells us, that is that from a stalk of poison, he can find nectar. How is it possible? It is. Because if we wish others well, our wishes for them turns into nectar. And that nectar actually decimates the poison in our heart. It's a beautiful formula. If you wish well for someone, that is nectar. So whatever inauspiciousness that you want, that poison is burned by the fire of nectar, by the sweetness of nectar. So therefore, even if we feel that what someone is, we don't like someone, but if he speaks Bhagavatam, we should accept the Bhagavatam. Supposing we are envious of somebody, I don't like him because he's very good, but he speaks very nice points. We should take the nice points. Never mind him, but we should take the nice points. One time, one devotee came to see Maharaj and told Maharaj that in my congregation, there was one leader who was very critical of us reading Bhagavatam. That leader was saying, those who are reading Bhagavatam, they are definitely in Maya. So he was very upset. And he came to see Maharaj because Maharaj is emblem of walking Bhagavatam. And he expected that Maharaj should become upset. He told me, he said, I thought Maharaj will also become upset. And I'm feeling upset, so that's good. If Maharaj feels upset, I'm upset, then it's nice, isn't it? But Maharaj was not upset. Maharaj laughed and he said, this is very good. It's true. Because those who are in Maya, they must read Bhagavatam. They must read more Bhagavatam. That's why they're in Maya. And Maharaj said, that's why Prabhupada made us read Bhagavatam early in the morning. Because in the morning, most Maya is there. Because we have slept so much, we are all in the mode of tamas. We can't even wake up, we are struggling. And then Krishna gives us Bhagavatam in the morning. So that is the best way to dispel Maya. See, this is how you take nectar from the stalk of poison. So the mark of a good quality of a Vaishnava is how he takes nectar from even poison. Today is Gita Jayanti. And Krishna introduced Arjuna to the field of Kurukshetra, where Arjuna saw all the great battle warriors who were his kinsmen, who were his gurus, who were his preceptors, who were his grandfather, Bhishma, Drona, Kripa. All of these were great personalities. And he did not want to kill them. So he said, why should I kill them? But then Krishna brought him there for a purpose, to show him that even though these people are there and they are related to you, but the point that you must remember is that you have to open your eyes to understand what is my plan, what is auspiciousness. It is not what you think is auspiciousness. Auspiciousness is what is the plan of Krishna and how to execute it. So Suniti knew what would please Krishna. And so she told Dhruva, Dhruva, take what your stepmother has said. Take the right point. The right point is go and worship Krishna. That is the only way we will be protected in this precarious situation. Maharaj told us to put ourselves in the shoes of Suniti. Imagine you are in a palace, but you are not the favored queen. Every day you are always given silent treatment. Every day you are given ignored treatment. Either they will ignore you, or they will be just silent with you, or they will find ways to agitate you. When you are not the favored queen in the household, your situation is very precarious. And your children's situation is precarious. They will be bullied. They will be tortured. They will be always second. So how much anxiety Suniti Mata must have had, how much anxiety. And then to see that Dhruva was put in such a painful situation. So he came to her lap, and Maharaj said he sat down with her and he cried to her and said, Mother, why this is happening to me? And instead of saying, why she should do this, we'll do one yajna where we will pray to Krishna that, Suruchi should be killed, Uttama should be killed, and all these people. She didn't say that. She didn't say that. She just said that you go to the forest now. Go to the forest. And there you remember Krishna. That's what you should do. Why did she ask him to go to forest? 5-year-old boy. Why did she ask him to go to the forest? Because Suniti knew that Krishna will protect her boy. She had firm faith in Krishna. She knew that if he continued to stay in the palace, this Asat Sangha will destroy his peace. It's a very practical point. That's why Suniti decided the best place to be with Krishna is in the forest of Madhuvan, because Krishna's pastimes in Madhuvan and Vrindavan, they are very powerful. And she was so confident that Krishna will protect her son. This is the confidence that we must have, the faith we must have, that we cannot protect our children, but Krishna can protect our children. We cannot protect our loved ones, but only Krishna can protect our loved ones. What a great faith she must have had. It was very difficult for her to send her son, but she sent him and she prayed for him. This is the point of the verse, that while he was there, we don't realize that while Suniti was sitting at home, she was not just sitting and worrying about Dhruva. She was not doing that. Her husband Uttanapad was worrying about Dhruva. Because when he realized that Dhruva went to the forest, he was worrying. He was very worried. But nowhere in Bhagavatam was he praying. This is a very important distinction between Suniti and the husband. Uttama was not praying. No, Uttanapad was not praying. But Suniti was praying. And that is why in this shloka, we find that the denizens of the city, when Dhruva Maharaj came back, they turned to Suniti and they gave all credit for his protection on her. See how nice. All the credit goes to the parent because the parent is a devotee. This is a very important point. So that is why here they are saying that Suniti, you must have worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead who delivers his devotee from the greatest danger. And Maharaj told us that one word in this whole shloka that's very important is the word that is known as Pranata Arti Ha. Pranata Arti Ha. It means who can deliver his devotees from the greatest danger. This is a quality of Krishna that we must take shelter of. This is the quality. Pranatarti Ha. If you put it together, that is how it is. Krishna is the source of all protection, and no one can protect us except Krishna. It's a very important point we should remember. You know, so many times in Bhagavatam, we have found these nice shlokas where Prabhupada, very nicely tells us a very practical example. There is one shloka, where is that? I forget. It is in 7.240 of Shrimad Bhagavatam, right? In that shloka, very nicely, Srila Prabhupada translates, that sometimes you may lose your money in a public street, isn't it? And even if you lose it there where everyone can see it, yet nobody can take it because the money is protected. Have you noticed how sometimes you drop something in the middle of a street and all of a sudden someone finds it? But you may keep valuables in your house. You can protect it very well, but it may get lost actually. My father, when he keeps something very, very carefully, he'll keep it in such a safe place that after 1-2 days, he'll forget where he keeps it. It's so safe, it has become secret. So like that, many things we have lost because he has kept it. Then after a while, it's so secret. He say, it must be so secret that I cannot tell someone something. Then he forgets also. He forgets. So when I told Maharaj this, Maharaj laughed and laughed and laughed. And he said, this is the thing. And then he showed me this verse, you see. He said, you may keep something at home, but you keep it so safe that even you don't know where you kept it. But sometimes you can keep something in the open. 100 people may pass by, but nobody picks it up. Because in that shloka, Prabhupada says so nicely, these are examples of the supremacy of the Lord. Prabhupada says in one line, these are examples of the supremacy of the Lord. That means if he wants to protect something, nothing can destroy it. Nothing can take that thing away. But if he doesn't want to protect it, then nothing can protect that thing. Nothing. And Dhruva Maharaj is the same thing. Suniti relied on Krishna's protection. She was dependent on Krishna's protection. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, after so much speaking of Bhagavad Gita in 18th chapter, he says so nicely, Chetasaha sarva karmani. In all your activities, just depend upon me. So if we want to be protected by Krishna, two things are necessary. The first thing is our sincere prayers. Prayers are very powerful. Suniti did not pray for herself. This is the subset of this point. Prayers are powerful, but Maharaj told us prayers for others are more powerful than prayers for yourself. This is a very important point. It is Suniti's prayer that protected Dhruva's devotion. This is the point to be understood. Dhruva's devotion was protected by Suniti's prayer. Suniti did not go to the forest, but the danger was in her son's ambience. It was in his scope. The danger was in his area, but the prayer was hers. That's why if we really want to wish someone well, please pray for them. Pray for them. Our prayer for others is very powerful. Our prayer for ourselves is not very powerful. Then Maharaj said, then I asked Maharaj the question, if our prayer for others is very powerful, then who's going to pray for us? Who will pray for us then? And Maharaj gave a very nice point. He told me that if you pray for others, naturally others will pray for you. If you behave yourself as a devotee, others will always wish you well. The moment someone wishes you well, that well-wishing is a prayer. They don't have to compose long shlokas, and then chant it. They don't have to. They just have to wish you well in your heart, in their heart. And that well-wishing becomes your protection. That is why our children are who they are, because they are protected by our prayers. It is our right to pray for our children, but it is also our right to pray for each other. That is what we should do. So it is more important to pray for others. That's why Prahlad Maharaj was always concerned about the welfare of others. You see, all his prayers, is all about the prayer for others. That's why Rantideva was not concerned about his difficulty. He was concerned about the welfare of others, and therefore he prayed for others. But by praying for others, Rantideva is exalted today. By praying for others, Suniti is remembered today just in the same breath as her son. You see? And because Suniti was praying for Dhruva and not for herself, ultimately when Dhruva went back to Dhruvaloka, Suniti was ahead of him. She was already ahead of him. Dhruva was worried. As he was going up, he was asking, where is my mother? She is the one who protected me. See, Dhruva Maharaj realized the greatness of his mother. And as children, we must realize the greatness of our devotee parents, because they are praying for us. They are praying for us. So when Dhruva went up, he was asking, where is my mother? And very nicely, Krishna assured him, right? All the Vishnu Dutas, they assured Dhruva that Dhruva, your mother is already on the first carriage. She is going already. She is ahead. So why? Why is it that Suniti was ahead of Dhruva? Dhruva is such a pure devotee. He is Mahajan. He is such a powerful soul. So how is it that Suniti was ahead? Because Suniti's devotion for praying for Dhruva was her qualification. That's why she was greater and more exalted than even Dhruva. That's why she is considered to be the spiritual master, the first spiritual master to actually Dhruva. Narada Muni became Diksha Guru, but the Siksha Guru was all the time his mother, Suniti. So this is the point we should understand, that actually Krishna is so kind that he protects everyone. And therefore Suniti's prayer was actually how powerful her faith was. Her prayer was an expression of her faith. That is why all of us, Maharaj told us, that our prayer is that always we should have the faith that Krishna is protecting us. All the great devotees prayed this way, because he is Pranata Arti Ha. He is the one alone who can deliver. No one else can deliver. What is that nice verse? Bilva Mangal Thakur sings, Agre Kurunam Atapandavanam Dushashanena Ritivashtrakesha Krishna Tadakro Sharanyanata Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. Bilva Mangal Thakur sings so nicely that when the assembled Kurus and Pandavas were there in that hall and the assembly, Dushashana, in a horrible fashion, he caught the hair of Draupadi Mata. He pulled at her sari. He wanted to humiliate her. But Draupadi, who is also known as Krishna, she had no other source of refuge and no other source of protection other than the Lord. She cried out, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. She cried out that way. And that is why she was protected. Forget about her protection. Maharaj told us that even Krishna, when he was caught by Mother Yashoda and he was bound, he was in fear, isn't it? And that is the only pastime in Krishna book where actually Krishna exhibits fear. There's no other pastime where he exhibits fear. In all other pastimes, every demon is fearful of Krishna when they are going to be killed. But only in this pastime, Krishna is exhibiting fear. And when he exhibited fear, who did he pray to? Who did Krishna pray to? Yashodaya Gadamulukalena Gokantapashena Dibadyamanam Rurodamandam Navanita Bhoji Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. Maharaj said, Bilva Mangal Thakur says that when Krishna was tied up at the grinding mortar, and the rope, which is normally used for the cow, was taken by Mother Yashoda, this powerful plunderer of butter, this great powerful butter thief, he softly whimpered, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. So Maharaj said, when Krishna is fearful, he prays to himself also. Because who else can give himself protection except the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even he prayed to himself, then why can't we pray to him? This is the point that is so nice. That's why these Bilva Mangal Thakur's prayers, Maharaj said, we only read maybe 16, 18 prayers. In Dwarka, I remember Radhika was there, Gomti was there, and Maharaj went through those prayers so beautifully, and he made them write it down. But then after that, he also told us that there are so many more prayers of Bilva Mangal Thakur. And he said that sometime we should go through them because they all describe the greatness of the mood of devotees in Bhagavatam actually. Sri Krishna Vishnu Madhukaita Bhare Bhaktanukampin Bhagavan Murare Trayasya Mam Keshava Lokanata Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. O Lord Krishna, O Vishnu, O enemy of Madhu and Kaitaba demons, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O enemy of the Mura demon, be merciful upon the devotees. O Keshava, O Lord of the worlds, Damodara, Madhava, please deliver me. So Pranata Artiha, no one can deliver us except Krishna. But Krishna delivers us through his devotees. And that is why Suniti is so exalted. She came, she prayed, and because of her prayer, Dhruva Maharaj was protected. So Prabhupada ends the purport, by saying so nicely that while the son was very far away in the forest, undergoing so much of danger of being exposed to the animals and the wildlife, the mother who was seated in the palace, she was enthusiastically and with full velocity, she was also continuing her prayers for the protection of her son. She was really depending on Krishna, just like Draupadi depended on Krishna, just like the Pandavas depended on Krishna, just like Sudama, he walked all the way to Dwarka because he depended on Krishna. Just like all the devotees of the Lord depended on Krishna. In the same way, Suniti sat one place, he was in the forest, they were thousands of miles away, but their prayer was one. Their prayer was one. See the greatness of Bhagavatam? See the greatness of how a Krishna conscious family should be. It doesn't matter if we are far away from each other, but we are linked by our devotional service. We are all a spiritual family of God brothers and God sisters. We are all here because Maharaj is in the center. And even though we are thousands of miles away for so many years, and how many years have passed since Maharaj wound down his pastimes in this material world, even though years have passed, our proximity and closeness to each other, it has not diminished. It is not diminished, not diminished. Even those of us who were just inspired by Maharaj, but who are not connected by Diksha to Maharaj, even then our connection with Maharaj is so powerful. I mean, I'm looking at Suvarna Prabhu. How many years in Krishna consciousness, Prabhu, you have been? And how much you have been part of Abu Dhabi's congregation? And how much of the mood of Maharaj you have imbibed? And so many years of so much enthusiasm. There's no change. So it shows one thing. The power of devotional service is what binds us. Mother is sitting far away. Son is sitting far away. Son is in precarious situation. Mother's condition in palace is also precarious. But they were united by the power of protection of Krishna in devotional service. Chetasaha sarva karmani, mayi sannyasa madparaha. You please give up all other things and you just depend upon me. Atachettam ahankara na shoyasi vinangshasi. So very nicely it is stated, Chetasaha sarva karmani mayi sannyasa madparaha. It is our consciousness that we must take and depend on Krishna. If we do this, then Matchitta Sarva Durgani. Matchitta Sarva Durgani. If you are conscious of me, then whatever Durgani, whatever obstacles there are, Sarva Durgani, Mat Prasada Tarisyasi. By my mercy, everything is gone. Everything is gone. They are all obstacles are cleared. And it is true in Dhruva's case. It was true in Suniti's case. All obstacles to devotional service were cleared. And Dhruva Maharaj attained the greatest benediction. Greatest benediction. 36,000 years he will rule. Can you imagine that? Not 1 year, not 2 years. 36,000 years he would rule. And he would be enshrined forever in the pole star that we saw last night in our program. Always, wherever we go, the pole star will be there. Even when this universe is partially annihilated, everything goes back to Brahma and Brahma goes back to Vishnu, but the pole star continues. Imagine, what an amazing benediction. The pole star continues. So how much of protection there was given by Suniti to Dhruva Maharaj. Please pray for others, and in doing so, you will definitely get the prayers and protection, not just of others, but definitely of Krishna. Of Krishna. If you are a well-wisher of someone, even if you are in difficult situation, even if people doubt your character, even if you are put in a situation of anxiety, Krishna as Super Soul, he will adjust everything. He will adjust everything. You remember the pastime of Sakshi Gopal? Where's Sakshi Gopal Prabhu? He's doing some service. Yeah. Sakshi Gopal. In Sakshi Gopal's pastime, if you remember, the young Brahmana and the old Brahmana, they were on a pilgrimage. And they went to nice Vrindavan, all the temples, and they came to the temple of Gopal. And there they saw the beautiful deity of Gopal. And they prayed so nicely to Gopal. Now the older Brahmana was so happy with the service of the younger Brahmana that in front of Gopalji, he said, the hand of my daughter is yours. I'm giving my daughter to you in marriage with Gopal as witness. So younger Brahmana said, look, we are Brahmanas. Don't in the height of the moment, happy with me, you promise me everything, and then when you go back, you can't. This is not a simple promise, you know. If you promise your daughter to be married to someone, it's a serious thing actually. So the younger Brahmana said, please be careful. But he said, no, I'm ready. I'm ready. So they went back. Now when they went back, the Brahmana went back to his family. His son, you know, was an atheist, did not believe in Krishna. His wife also was a bit difficult. Now when he saw his wife, he saw his son, then he came to the ground. He was in the sky. But now he came to the ground and he thought, when I see my wife, I don't think she will agree. Because that young Brahmana was poor. He did not come from good family. He had no money. Definitely his wife will say, have you lost your common sense? He doesn't have enough money. How will he protect the daughter? And that son will never give the daughter to someone in that status. So Brahmana realized now he was in trouble. So what did he do? He just prayed to Krishna. The young Brahmana went to see him. After 1-2 days, gave him some time to rest, came to see him and said, sir, I have come to keep your vow. Now, Chaitanya Charitamrita tells us the young Brahmana was not running after the girl, but he wanted to keep the promise of the elderly Brahmana. That is very important. But the elderly Brahmana now was in two minds. Now he changed his mind. He said, I can't remember saying this actually. You know, sometimes we say that, isn't it? Oh, really? I don't remember this. Then we say, Prabhu, Kali Yuga, our memories are short. Actually, for other things, our memory is long. Maha say, bank balance, right to the end, we know how much we have. But Bhagavatam and other things, we don't remember. So the old Brahmana said, I can't remember. Young Brahmana said, how can you not remember? You made promise. And after he said that, that man came out, the boy. And after he came out, the mother also came out. And when the Brahmana saw his wife and saw his son, he said, no, I don't remember. So this son then called the village people and said, look at this rascal young Brahmana, trying to get the hand of my beautiful sister because he wants to get married to the rich family. We are well-to-do Brahmanas. And that is why he's coming. Actually, he was serving my father in Vrindavan only with this purpose. Very hurtful things he said, But then the young Brahmana said, no, I promise you, he really said this, and I did not serve him because of this. So then the atheist person said, who was your witness there? And then the young Brahmana was thinking, who is witness? Who is witness? Then he said, of course, what is wrong with me? He said, yes, there was a witness to prove it. And the elderly Brahmana thought, maybe there was someone I did not know. Maybe he was standing nearby. And then the young Brahmana said, the deity of Gopal was the witness. Now the elderly Brahmana thought, how is he going to bear witness? The atheist thought, very good. Who will ever believe that the deity can say something to witness it? Deity is not going to speak. There is no God. I don't believe in God. So let him say that God was the witness, because it will never come to be that God can come to witness something. So atheist was thinking that way. Elderly Brahmana was worried, and young Brahmana had faith. So then the young Brahmana said that the witness is Gopal, and I will bring Gopal here, and he will speak and tell everyone that actually the elderly Brahmana promised the daughter to me in hand. Now, the elderly Brahmana had faith in Gopalji. So he said, yes, please bring Gopal. I pray that Gopal will come. The atheist had no faith. So how is he going to agree? The atheist cannot agree. They will say, what is this? I don't agree to this. But Krishna as super soul, Prabhupada writes in the purport, spoke to the atheist in the heart and inspired him to think this way. The atheist thought, let him go. God doesn't exist. He will never come. So let him go. And the atheist said, I fully agree to this also. See? So this is how Prabhupada said, this is the evidence that Krishna is such a protector, that in a situation where everything is moving, everything is opposite, you cannot bring people in alignment. And yet if Krishna wants, two people who do not have same faith can come together and agree on the same point. Only Krishna can do that. Nobody else can do that. And so the young Brahmana went. He went to Vrindavan and he went to the temple of Gopal. Everybody went to sleep. He went to speak to Gopalji. And he said, Gopalji, now I'm in trouble. And he explained to him everything. And he told him, now you must come. And he prayed. And the deity spoke. Gopalji said, I'm very pleased by your devotion. But it is not, I don't know in history of a time when a deity can walk, Normally deity means we just stand there. We don't walk. Then the young Brahmana said, that may be so, but deity doesn't talk also, isn't it? But you're talking. Then Krishna thought, yeah, actually I'm talking. So if I can talk, I can walk also. So let me walk. I'll walk with you. Only thing I want is one thing. that I will walk behind, you'll walk in front. You should not turn around to see me. You should just have faith that I am coming with you. But in our long journey, at the end of the day, we will stop to rest. And at that time when we rest, you must make for me at least 1.5 kg of rice. So Krishna was very practical, that he had to eat also, isn't it? So he spoke, now he's going to walk, and he also arranged for his own prasadam, that he should eat some rice. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, the weight is given, the weight of rice is given also. So Krishna knew that he had to take something. So like that, they traveled all the way to the village. And at the appointed time, by Krishna's arrangement, there was sand, and it entered into the anklets. And so the young Brahmana could not hear the footprints, the footsteps. He could not hear the footsteps, right? Which is normally heard by the anklets of Krishna. He could not hear it. So he thought, where is my Gopala? And he turned, and Krishna was there. He had become in deity form now. No talking, no walking, and no rice also. He just stood there now. And when he stood there, he had just come to the edge of the village. Enough. And the Brahmana ran inside and said, Krishna has come, Gopala has come. And that is why this deity is known as Sakshi Gopal, because he has come to give Sakshi. So Krishna is the Sakshi in our heart. Suniti turned to him in the heart and prayed to him to protect her son. And Dhruva, when he was leaving, he prayed for the protection of his mother. And in that way, we should always pray for the protection of each other. We pray for the protection of our body so that it becomes a proper instrument in the worship of Krishna. We must have goodwill for each other. Don't mean ill to each other. We may not get along. Our characters may be different, but we must be well-wishers. Everyone is suffering without exception. If you are wishing them ill, do you want them to suffer more? Is that how devotees should think? Even if they cause difficulty to you, you know from yesterday that we spoke on Bhagwatam that they themselves are harassed by the modes of nature. Why should we find fault with them? Let them find fault with us. It's all right. Time is passing. Do we need to dwell on all these things? Namani anantasya hata trapa patan guyani badrani kritani chasmaran gamparyatams tushtamanagata spraha kalam pratikshan vimado vimatsaraha. This is how we must pass time. We must pass time in repeated recitation of the holy names of the Lord. And in that way, we just travel the world. Like you all have traveled, we have all traveled now. Now, starting from tomorrow, by mercy of Vaishnava Seva Prabhu, we are all going to be traveling, right? So nicely and expertly as arranged for us. We'll all travel. There's luxurious bus. At least we don't have to walk. We are traveling nicely there. There, full prasad is there. Actually, there's no austerity. When we come to temple here, Vaishnava Seva Prabhu makes it in such a way that we don't have to be in difficulty. These are the prayers of the devotees. He's our well-wisher. He's always praying that we should come and he should serve us. That prayer is his protection. That's why this temple has come up actually, because of his prayers for our well-wisher. So this is how we pray for each other. Jaya Grantaraj Shrimad Bhagwatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Gurudev ki, Dhruva Maharaj ki, Suniti Mata ki, Thai Gaura Premanande. Are there any questions? Any nice realizations? I really want to hear from you all. Yes, Kalchakra Prabhu, please. Can we have a mic, Prabhu? Just 1 minute. Let's have a mic so everyone.